Citoyens, citizens, liberal individuals from the globalized elites of the Athens Democracy Forum, good morning. It is with great grief and a very heavy heart that I accept the honor to open the eulogies of my very own funeral. Democracy is dead, ladies and gentlemen, but she still has things to say. It is unfortunate that I had to die, but we shall overcome. There were good regimes before me, and there shall still be some after me. But today is the time to reflect on my life and on my death. Democracy is dead, and I am just a very pale ghost. And I get even paler when I think of the fiasco of the Brexit, the way in which petty politicians have gambled not only with my life, but also with the immense European idea, and shook off responsibility for this terrible mistake. I get paler when I think of the increasing global wage inequality, polarizing our societies, and the inability of governments to tackle the issues. I feel like I die a second time when I see that Donald Trump is marketing his lies on Twitter and promising to build a wall that he knows will never stand. The greatest philosophers thought they had covered the question of democracy, but the challenges remain. 3 of my children, from very different fathers, as you can tell, have come with me today to share their tears and insights of the challenge that stands before us. They have many things to say about my death. But let me warn you, 5 people in this room will try to interrupt the procession and tell you that redemption is still possible, that you can make democracy great again. But I'm afraid time is out, les amis. Democracy has expired. I like to reflect about my short passage on Earth. What did it mean? My children will all agree that democracy is more than just ticking a box. It's the power of the people, their individual ability to challenge the establishment, and to actively participate in public debate, no matter who they are. But democracy is dead, ladies and gentlemen. I have seen elected governments in many places, but I have seen democracy nowhere. What I have seen is capitalism govern desires. What I have seen is cheap marketing, not truthful debate. What I have seen is not democracy, but liberalism. What I have seen was the tyranny of temptation to bite the poisonous apple of populism. Would you like to bite the apple?
How can you say that democracy is dead if now you're saying it never existed?
I'm not saying it never existed. I'm telling that we fell into a trap and that we killed me. Democracy today has become meaningless, and it has not managed to tackle the issues of our time. How did we get here? And I think this answers your question. Other models have challenged the assumption of the universality of democracy. This, my child Jonathan will share with you in his eulogy. Second, liberalism is more important than democracy. What we like to call democracy today is actually not democracy. It is liberalism. And liberal elites do not want democracy. They want liberalism. Populists do not want democracy. They want authority. This is the grief that my second child, Rita, will express. The forces of the market are stronger than democracy. Capitalism and not democracy are our global constitution. Policies are no longer measured by their political quality, but by their economic ends. My third child, Vasilis, will explain the intricacies of how money speaks louder than a vote. Bill, the gravedigger, will give you his last words of wisdom and convince you that I am really dead and that this whole speech was probably just your imagination. But just before I leave the floor to my children, the legendary Faust and I will share a first confession about my death. Democracy has sold its soul. I have sold my soul to the devil when I decided to spend today and pay the bill tomorrow. Is it the people who rule Greece, the United States, Morocco, Italy, or is it the creditors who decide? Citizens, the lesson that Faust has taught us has been neglected by the weight of our debt today. In a world where governments are irreversibly bound by creditors, democracy is dead. In a world where ill-fated decisions bind us in the long term, democracy is dead. Democracy leaves you with sorrow to join the gates of hell, and I now surrender to the accounts of my children. Thank you.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Now I ask First Opposition